Okay, let's go. Um, yeah, just talked to the players a little while ago, and just talked to them about flipping the script now, and here we go. We're moving on. We're heading to Green Bay. Obviously, a huge challenge ahead of us. Obviously Aaron Rodgers and the Smith brothers and all the great players that they have on that side of the ball. As far as yesterday goes, we had some really individual standout players and I guess key moments in the game where guys really stood out and made plays. I think we need to make sure we talk about Matt Nelson and stepping in, converted defensive lineman. I know I said that yesterday, but to step in there and, Khalil Mack to block him and really not even show up in the stat sheet, him or Robert McQuinn, I think it's a big deal. Danny Amendola stepped up big time on some third downs, really huge catches for us. Kevin Strong at the end of the game, highly impressive play, just coming back in his first week. Everson and Romeo, hunting the quarterback, getting after him, sack for each, sack caused fumble by Romeo, and then obviously Big John, recovering that fumble there at the end was huge for us. So really cool. I talked to him also about today that we're in search and trying to play that perfect game, but it's never happened in the history of ball. So we're going to continue to strive for that and reach for that. But we know we got a lot to clean up. There's enough mistakes to go around. So we're going to, we got penalties we got to clean up. We got to start better on defense. But I really like how those guys responded in the second half. And with that, open up to questions.
Tim? Hey, Bevell, congratulations again yesterday. Do you expect a little bit more of some normalcy this week? You talked about the whirlwind of last week and just the newness of it, and now you kind of got your routine down. You understand what to expect game day, everything else, and coming back the next week. Do you expect a little bit more of rhythm, normalcy to the week?
Yeah, I'm hoping, Tim, it gets a little bit more normal this week. I still feel like this call right here is probably one of the last things I do for the first time, in terms of wrapping up the day after the game. But yeah, I expect it to be more normal. And like I said, I got great support guys around me, support staff, and helping me in every way. So looking forward to a great week.
Corey Woods.
Hey, Bevell, the Packers are one of the better teams in the league this year as far as the passing goes. And the team right now is currently one of the worst against the pass. Have you talked to you guys about how you're going to stop Aaron Rodgers in the attack this week?
Well, I think that's always the key to the Green Bay Packers, right? Aaron Rodgers has been playing at a high level for a long time. Devontae Adams out there on the edge. They have a great connection. They can just kind of wink or nod, and they know what each other's doing. So it's going to be a huge challenge, and we got to do a great job all across the board. It's not just the back end; it's the front end. All of that working together, and we hope that we can cause them some problems.
Mike Rothstein.
Hey, Bev, how are you? A couple questions for you. First, how much of your style, going back to kind of last week, whether it was what you did in practice or really anything, goes back to kind of what you maybe took from Pete?
Well, I think, like I said, Mike, I've been around some great coaches, and, I can go all the way back to, Coach Alvarez at Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin, even as a player, kind of watching him. And all the way along the way, just the great coaches that I've had around me, and the things that I've enjoyed about them, and just trying to make sure that I take notes. And if I was ever in that position, what would I do, and would I handle that situation that way? Would I change that kind of thing? And obviously, Pete had a huge influence on me as well. And I really liked there's a lot that he does that I think. Obviously, we had a lot of success while we were there, so I really liked some of that stuff. So definitely some of that's in there. I was with Mike Sherman. I was with a lot of different guys, Brad Childress, and all those guys had an impact on me. I think it shows up in different ways.
And last night probably was really the first time you maybe had a chance to really pull back, even for like a second. What was it like when you got home last night and kind of everything sinks in a little?
Yeah, it was. It was amazing. I think I told you on the phone. I couldn't wait to talk to my wife. That was cool to talk to her and just be able to share it with my family for a little bit. It was, it was truly an amazing day. And I don't know if I could have written the script any better for the challenges that we faced in the game, how the guys played. I think the thing that made me the proudest was the people that were sending me texts and all those and phone calls and those kind of things. Just talked about what it looked like on TV and how much fun that the guys were having and how much energy they had. And that was the main goal for me. Is I thought if I could get those guys, playing for the love of the game and like they were 10-year-old kids again, that it would make an impact. And just for them to be able to give me that feedback and say, man, I can't believe what those guys look like. They look like they're having a great time and they were playing hard. And those kind of things are, were big for me.
Cool. Thanks, Bev. Appreciate it.
Dave?
Reggie said that after, last time he made a tackle like that at the end of the game was Little League and his coach took him out for ice cream. So I assume you got ice cream for everyone at lunch, or you will on Wednesday when they come in. So.
Dave, that's the first I'm hearing of it, but I might have to take him up on that.
Yeah. Two things. First, can you explain why Matt Prater was kicking off yesterday instead of Jack Fox? And then second, you mentioned Kevin Strong. Heck of a play at the end of the game there. I mean, a guy that just got called up. So maybe a little bit more on him and his role yesterday and the play that he was able to make at the end.
Yeah, so Matt Prater, that was a little bit of a game plan deal there. There was going to be some different kicks. Obviously, they have one of the best kick returners in the history of the NFL. So I thought it gave us an opportunity with some of the style of kicks. Obviously, take a little bit off of Jack as well, help him focus on the punting. And really, we kicked off the first time to him, and he was able to break the one out. And then from there, we gave ourselves a shot to do it, and then just went to all the different style of kicks that Prater had for us. The second one, he's overplaying it, so he kicks it the other way. They don't get a return. Then some great mortar kicks, and so he just did a great job of executing the game plan for us in those situations. And then Kevin, I mean, what can you say, right? The guy he was just called up, and he was able to make a huge impact play. There was some nuances in the game plan and how they were trying to play some of the blocks and things that they were doing. But for him to be able to step in and make a big play, shows like how important it is to him. His level of focus with the game plan in the short time that he was been here, that week to be able to accomplish that.
Thanks, Ben.
Kyle?
Hey, Darrell. I was wondering if you could go back to the Adrian Peterson's last touchdown there, the play call there that put you guys over the top. Just the play call, why you went with it, and then maybe what role the confidence you have in that left side of the line that's playing really well, what role maybe that had in your decision.
Yeah, there was different thoughts going through my mind. I really felt like we had run the ball earlier down there on the 3rd and 3, and we're able to run it in from the 3-yard line. And so the first thought on the first couple was get them to use their timeouts to make it a little bit more difficult on them. But I felt confident in our run game. Obviously, those guys on the left side have done a good job, but really across the board. And we gave him a chance to punch it in, and I mean, what a great run! It was actually a really physical run. We didn't get to the one backer, and Adrian just basically ran him over, and and then good emphasis with the spike there at the end, which I really liked, and it was just good play by those guys. But thinking situationally, they were trying to get them to use timeouts as well, and knowing that we had a chance to score on the play, we did like the play, but we still had another down if we needed it.
You've got some guys playing really well up front this year. Frank's playing really well. Taylor, obviously. Jonas shown a lot. The guys have really complimented Hank and the role he's had in their development. What have you seen from Hank this year, just with his development of the guys and his role there as the offensive line coach?
Yeah, he's done a great job. It hasn't been easy. He's had some juggling that he's had to do, guys in and out of the lineup, moving guys around, and I think probably the biggest impact that he's had is on those young guys. Obviously Decker's going to play the way he is. I mean, Frank still, we kind of consider him a young guy, but talk about Jonah and then guys like Matt Nelson and those guys down the line. To take a guy that's converted defensive lineman, to get him to play the level that he played yesterday, I think speaks to Hank's coaching. Him and Billy do a really good job. They're heavily involved in the run game and the game plan and implementing that. So he's a great communicator. He's a great teacher. He's got a great demeanor about him and in handling those guys. And I think he complements all those different personalities that they have there.
Thanks, sir. Jennifer?
Hey, Coach. I'm curious to know, did you get a congratulatory text from Matt Patricia following the win yesterday by chance?
I did not.
You did not. Okay, just out of curiosity. I do have a question. Do you have a 24-hour type of policy with the players? And if so, did you talk to them about it yesterday or today? Or how do you kind of implement that when you want them to keep the same type of energy from yesterday and carry it into this week?
Yeah, I mean, I want us to continue to carry the energy, and I think today is an important day to continue to wrap up the game. You know, so really, once we're done with the meetings today, you know, our meetings go. We have a team meeting, then the special team meetings, then offense and defense, and then the position meeting. So once all that's wrapped up, then then we flip the script and move on to Green Bay, and we kind of got to go. So we had all the way until I don't know, it was maybe an hour ago or so.
Jeremy?
Thanks for the time, Darrell. Just a really quick question. Over the weekend, you guys made kind of a surprising roster move, letting go of Marvin Hall. I'm curious what went into the decision there.
Yeah, Marvin's a guy that I really enjoyed having on our team. He's a guy that I have a lot of respect for. He came in, I think it was early in the season last year. He's made some big plays for us. But Jeremy, though, there's a lot that goes into it in terms of roster spots and more than just play on the field. And so we just made a decision to move on. We have Mohamed Sanu. I think he came in. He kind of saw what he was able to do. Made really some big plays for us. And I do wish Marvin, MH, we call him, the best of luck. And like I told him, I know he's going to end up on the roster somewhere.
Thanks.
So 3 more, Chris.
Hey, Darrell, thanks for the time. Can I just follow up on that real quick? And then I had a question of my own, too. But I was just curious if you can share anything about what the dynamic is right now between you and the front office in terms of those roster decisions, just sort of how much conversation there is, or if they're making those decisions and just telling you or how it's all working now.
Yeah, that's a good question, Chris. I don't even know what the shape would be that we would call it, but there's, we have our personnel group that's left over. They really do a great job with Kyle and Lance and Rob, and then Rod Wood's involved in it and Mike Disner. So really the 5 of us, or the 5 of them and myself, we did have a lot of discussions about the roster. There's been great, really, I think it's been great communication. I mean, it was basically on a daily basis in terms of, future roster moves, but also, just the more recent stuff, like who is going to be active for the game, who's not going to be active. There's obviously discussions in terms of, how guys are making it through practice. So it's between 1 or 2 guys. So I just think the communication between that group was outstanding.
And then with Matthew yesterday, I know you already talked a little bit about this after the game, but pretty aggressive getting the ball downfield. It seemed like maybe some things opened up for you there that haven't in other games. I'm just curious how much you can adjust to sort of how Matthew's feeling throughout the game. Like, does he have games where he says, I really want to take some more shots, I'm really feeling good with the arm? Like, how much in-game adjustments are you making just based off conversations you're having with him?
Well, I think, Chris, there's a lot of in-game adjustments that are being made. I don't know if it's necessarily like all the time, like how you physically feeling with your arm or whatever, but probably more game plan specific things. But I mean, definitely he's been fighting through some things. Obviously he's got a thumb that he's working with, and so I would say this. I was really excited about how we did with our explosive plays yesterday. I think we had like 10 passes and we had 1 explosive run. The way that we calculate them, and so that was huge. I mean, really did go for it a little bit more, and I think he took some really good calculated chances, put very accurate balls on guys, and just he played really well. And I think the offensive line had a lot to do with that. You could tell how settled he was in the pocket. There were subtle movements. I mean, he did have to move, but the moves were subtle. They were in the right open areas. And I thought he handled it really well.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Brad?
Darrell, on a personal level, Matthew just looked different. I'm sure, as you said, a lot of people reached out to you and said that the team looked different. Fox and the broadcast kept showing a shot of him kind of smirking at you as you guys were walking out of the tunnel. Before game planning, I guess when Monday hit, when the news talked and you talked with Matthew, what was the discussion between the two of you like on a personal level of where this team's headed the next few weeks?
Well, I have a really good leadership group. I mean, we have really great leaders on the team, and he's definitely one of those guys. So, excuse me, I met with with that group, and I mean, I thought really all of them had great input. I told them what my plan was, and we went back and forth on a couple of little things. But just Matthew in particular, I mean, he's been here a long time, and he's a well-respected player on this team. And I think just from the first day that I got here, I thought it was important to build a good relationship with him, with clear communication. And you have to build that trust. You have to work on it, for him to really open up. And I think it's at a good place right now, and I'm super excited about that.
Is this the best place you've seen him at in a while? Because he talked so openly and freely with us last week on Monday. And I'm just curious with you and the uncertainty that he faces in his football future, if he maybe shared with you, hey, I'm really excited more so than I have been. Maybe did those words come across his lips?
Yeah, I wouldn't get into just our personal conversation that we've been having, but I'm excited for him. I love having him as the leader of our offense and the possibilities that he gives us. And we're heading right straight at Green Bay, and we couldn't be more excited about that.
All right, O'Hara, and then Dave, last one.
Yeah, Coach. By the way, I covered 15 games in Milwaukee, too.
The birthday boy had to ask a question.
Yeah. Hey, I just wondered, the one thing, the really stark difference from the first half to the second half was your defense. The first half was 3 touchdowns, a field goal, and complete opposite in the second half. What happened at halftime, or what sort of, adjustments you made or whatever to make such a big difference in the way they
Yeah, like huge difference from half to half. I think they scored for their 5 drives in the first half, over 100 yards rushing, and then they only scored one of their 6 drives in the second half with like 30, 32, 34 yards rushing. So, Corey and the defensive staff did a great job of making adjustments. Also, I think the defense settled down a little bit, and they knew it's a long game, and just continue to play. That's what I've been preaching to us. Just play. Don't even worry about the scoreboard. We'll look up at the end, and that's when we can check. Just wait till it hits 0. And I think they bought into that, and the adjustments that they made were solid. I think we tackled a little bit better, and they just made plays in that second half. I mean, big plays for us.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right, last one, Dave.
Hey, Bev, just to follow up, can you please clarify what role Rod is playing in these roster moves, or what role he plays in that discussion? Because a lot of people, he's not in the personnel department officially, so I think a lot of people would wonder why he's involved in that.
Yeah, I just know that that's the group that I've been discussing it with. The 3 personnel guys, Disner and Rod, we're all in there. Great communication, great conversations, and I think everybody's able to bring a little bit different thought to it and perspective. So first week, so far so good.
Does he have a vote though, in like if you keep Marvin Hall on the roster or not?
Well, I mean, he's definitely in the conversation. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Bev. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Evan.